Hey, beautiful souls. Welcome back to Still with Sara. I'm Sara, and if you're new here, this podcast is all about healing, consciousness, and what it really means to come home to yourself after life completely rewrites the script you thought you were living. I started this show to share my own journey, living with TBI, cPTSD, and ADHD, and how I've learned to not just survive, but to heal and grow through spiritual practice, astrology, and the universal laws that continue to guide me. And honestly, I've always loved connection. Growing up half my life in Texas, I used to listen to the Kid Craddock in the morning show every day. It was this beautiful mix of laughter, honesty, and heart. And I didn't realize it back then, but that energy shaped how I wanted to show up in the world. That's what I want Still with Sara to feel like: real conversations, real heart, and a space where we can grow together. Today, I want to talk about something that's been showing up a lot in my world lately: conscious leadership. Before I bring in some amazing voices this month, I wanted to sit down and really ground into this theme. Because conscious leadership isn't just a buzzword, it's a way of being. To me, conscious leadership isn't about power, position, or perfection. It's about presence, it's self awareness, it's choosing to be intentional with how we move through the world and how we treat the people around us. A conscious leader doesn't lead from ego, they lead from empathy. They know that their energy impacts everything, and they're not afraid to do the inner work that leadership requires. We often think leadership looks like being the loudest voice in the room, but more often than not, conscious leadership is quiet, it's steady, and it's rooted in love and integrity. For me, conscious leadership has always been something I've worked on, long before my brain injury in 2023. Throughout my career, I've had to learn what it means to show up, to communicate with empathy, and to guide and collaborate with people from all walks of life. But it wasn't until my spiritual awakening in 2023, around the same time I experienced my traumatic brain injury, that everything really came into focus on a deeper level. That year cracked me wide open. It was like my whole perspective on life, purpose, and leadership expanded overnight. I started to see that conscious leadership isn't just about professional growth, it's about soul growth. It's about how we move through the world with awareness and how we take responsibility for our energy. After my injury, I had to rebuild so many parts of my life from the inside out. But I also realized that I'd been practicing conscious leadership for years. I just hadn't called it that. Leading through compassion, listening more than speaking, and learning how to show up with integrity even when no one's watching. And now, in this new era we're stepping into collectively, I see how deeply we need conscious leaders. People who lead with heart, empathy, and emotional awareness. And leaders who are awake and who understand that healing and leadership are intertwined. Because conscious leadership is alignment. It's walking your talk, and it's leading from a place that's still healing, but aware, grounded, and full of love. This whole month, we're exploring the theme of conscious leadership through conversations with people who are embodying it in beautiful, authentic ways. But first, I have to laugh because today has been such a full moon in Aries kind of day. If you've been feeling that fiery, unpredictable energy, you know exactly what I mean. Aries energy is all about action, independence, and momentum, which can be amazing for starting new things, but not always great for technology. So when our recording setup decided not to cooperate yesterday, I took that as a cosmic reminder that sometimes the universe has its own timing. And honestly, that's part of conscious leadership too. Learning how to stay grounded and flexible when life or your Wi Fi throws you a curveball. Now, with that said, I am so excited to share what's coming up this month. First up, I was supposed to record with Janessa with Estrella's Cafecito, but we'll be reconnecting soon because divine timing always works out perfectly. Janessa is such a bright light and a true example of conscious leadership in motion. She's a first-generation college student at UCI, majoring in political science, And she's got this powerful vision for her future. She wants to go to Washington, D.C. next spring to step into the world of policy and law. Her dream is to become a lawyer and work in public policy, creating real change from the inside out. What I love most about Janessa is how she's doing the work in real time. She's raising funds to make that DC trip happen, sharing her journey openly, and building community around her dream. That's conscious leadership, showing others what it looks like to lead with heart, courage, and transparency. And through her brand, Estrella's Cafecito, she's creating a space for people to come together over culture, coffee, and conversation. Then you'll hear from my boyfriend, Ricardo, the heart behind Rick's Rips. Ricardo's leadership style is totally his own, grounded, funny, and deeply authentic. He's building something amazing with his business partner, Tyler, who he actually bonded through their shared love of playing Pokemon TCG. Together, they've created Big Back Boys, a growing community that celebrates nostalgia, friendship, and connection through the world of collectibles. What's so beautiful to me is how naturally Ricardo leads. He's not trying to be anyone else. He just shows up with love, consistency, and integrity. He reminds me that leadership doesn't always have to be spiritual to be soulful. Sometimes it's just about showing up as your full self and doing what you love in a way that brings people together. And then there's Josh and Lisha with Empathy Empire. These two are absolute powerhouses, leading a massive wave of conscious leaders through what they call the Golden Funnel, a method rooting in manifestation and the use of hermetic principles, helping people align their energy with their purpose. It's a framework for conscious creation, blending mindset, energetics, and action to help people call in what they're truly meant for. It's a framework for conscious creation, blending mindset, energetics, and action to help people call in what they're truly meant for. But what really stands out about them is the heart behind it all. They're helping the collective wake up, teaching people how to access their true power, lead from empathy, and build lives and businesses that actually feel aligned with who they are. They're not just teaching conscious leadership, they're living it. And they're building a movement that's helping others remember who they truly are. I love that each of these conversations connects back to the same truth. Conscious leadership doesn't have one definition. It can look like Janessa paving the way for change in policy. It can look like Ricardo and Tyler building community through creativity and connection. It can look like Josh and Lisha helping others unlock their gifts and rise together. And I might even have more guests coming your way soon. Other voices I've been connecting with who are walking the same path of purpose and awareness. Because that's what this season is all about. Creating a space for real, conscious conversations with leaders who are shaping this new era in their own unique way. Each of these voices adds something beautiful to the tapestry of what conscious leadership looks like. And together, they remind us that there's no single way to do this work. We each lead in our own way. So, as you move through this week, I invite you to ask yourself, how am I leading myself today? How am I showing up with awareness, love, and compassion, even in the small things? You don't have to have a title to be a leader. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be present. Conscious leadership begins with how you treat yourself, because how you lead yourself is how you'll lead others. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I'm so grateful that you're here, and I can't wait for you to hear the conversations coming up in the next few weeks. Make sure you're following Still with Sara wherever you listen to podcasts and connect with me on social media. I'd love to hear what conscious leadership means to you. Until next time, stay grounded, stay curious, and remember, you're still here, you're still growing, you're still with Sara.